Hello everybody, this is the Goufs and Fox coming at you with a few matches here. And yeah, this is going to be of no specified suit. This is really going to be more about the maps here because this is all three of the special maps that have been added in the recent updates. And yeah, the devs decided to do a limited game mode for quick matches, which added three special maps to the game. And yeah, these special maps, they're variants of maps we already have in the game. As you can see here for this first match here, this is clearly on desert. And what these special matches do is that they rearrange the map entirely. Or well, they rearrange where the bases and the control points are. Well, not all the time for the bases. It's only port base, high tide that they change the base locations, but for the rest of these, they are all pretty much, it's the bases are the same, but they've changed the control points. And yeah, again, I have like three matches here in all three of the maps. This first one here, this is going to be a 650 cost match here on desert in the Dijeh. The next match is going to be on Port Base High Tide in the Aqua GP01, and the last match is going to be in Deserted City in the Gouf, and that's going to be a 300 cost match there. So 650 Dijeh, 550 Aqua GP01, and 300 Gouf in that order. And starting off with Desert here. Tropical Desert here was the first map I played on during the update when special matches first released. It wasn't this match here. This is one of the later ones I had. My first match was actually in the Hymo Garibaldi Alpha at 450. And I decided to use this Dijeh match because, well, it was a really good match, and I really don't use the Dijeh too much, so I thought this would be a good match to kind of, show off a suit that I really don't play that often, so I wanted to go with this one here. Yeah, real quick, Dijeh is pretty good raid overall, but focusing on the map here, the main difference overall is that there is a point E, but point E is no longer in the middle of the map on that hill there, where number 2 was just sitting. Point E is actually now on the right side of the map, or at least my right side right now, and yeah, you have no middle point, which makes it kind of interesting to play now, because usually point E on that hill is usually an important place that people try to take. They try to take that point because when you have that point on the hill, you have a pretty good vantage point up there, and it gives you a pretty good advantage in the game. So usually having that point is a high priority, but in this instant here, it's really less about that and more just trying to keep that hill, because you can't just spawn in on that hill anymore. You have to kind of take it and you have to keep it, and that's kind of what happens here a few times. A lot of fighting also happens off the hill, I've noticed. So this map does definitely have some differences. As you can also see with these spawn points too, we all spawn by the sides of the map here and not by our bases. So we are completely far away from our bases, and pretty much, yeah, it's from there, it's like you have to figure out really where to go. And it does play. I will say this map is one of the ones I would say plays very different from how Desert is today, because Desert these days usually just plays a lot like Arctic Base. So I will say this is like one of the reasons I do like this special map, because I do feel like it changes up the gameplay a lot of kind of what Desert got reduced to. Because back then, like before Arctic Base, like Desert didn't used to play the way it did now. And it does kind of suck that, it just kind of follows the basic Arctic base trope. And I kind of wish it wasn't like that, so I can definitely see why maybe this map was chosen for the special mode. Because it's a lot more fun to just kind of do something a bit different here. And yeah, really, that's not much else I can really say about this map that's of too much significance. As you can see, some of the other points have also been moved around as well. I will say one thing I am not too fond of, though, is that it does seem like they did put more points on one side of the map, Because I think this side here, if you're looking on this side here, as you can see, there's point B right there, then D and E are right there. But the other side of the map only has 2 points, and yeah, I don't know, I don't really like that design-wise. I wish they just kind of got rid of the middle points. That's right there, and they just kind of kept it to like 4 points. I think that would have made a bit more sense, because I don't know, it feels weird and almost a bit unfair that one side does have the opportunity to hold more points. I mean, I guess that does mean, more people are going to fight for that side, but if you don't spawn on that side, then it's going to be a bit weird. So I kind of wish they just, again, removed a point. They didn't have to keep every single point that they had. But aside from that, I think overall, this version of Desert is pretty enjoyable for the most part. Again, pretty different from the way it plays now, so I do really like that one. And, yeah, not really too much else to say here. So gonna let the rest of this match fill out first. I'm gonna try to cover these all individually and not, like, rush through my thoughts on each map here, because I do want to properly go over each map, and I will be leaving timestamps here as well, so if you do want to get to a particular map and kind of look at that, then yeah, you can go to each unique match and kind of get an idea for what that map is like. And since this is going to be a longer video too, if you do enjoy the video, remember to like and subscribe. It does help out a lot. So yeah, we do have a bomb on our base over here. So I'm going to try to see if I can help out with that. I think I tried to see if my rifle could pierce, but I don't think that's how that works here on the Dijeh. There is somebody shooting us over here though. Looks like it is just the A team, so going to try to pursue him with the Zeku's Y here. Someone is defusing a bomb, and we have a pretty good lead at the moment, so don't know if they do get the bomb off, if we'll actually do anything, but managed to get it, so that's going to prevent the enemy team from getting those extra points. And we're nearing the last minute of this match. I'm gonna die here. I think that might be my first and only death for this first match here. I got destroyed by the B team just on the hill there. And that's kind of what I said too, like, without, like, the points on the hill, or the points on the hill, there's some that are close to it, but just without that point on the hill, yeah, not a lot of, it's either everyone's going to be fighting for that position, or everyone's fighting around it. It's not like a king of the hill, like, scenario anymore. You're not really fighting for that hill, you're really fighting for everything around it, because even in a game mode like this where they change everything around, those control points are still really important to helping you, win the match and kind of get your placement together. Gonna try to see if I can get the B team here. Not gonna get him in time, but good work's going all around. Let's see how we did with this first match here in the Dijeh. Mission completed. And I didn't get anyone on the board, but did beat our rival. Gonna praise the Zeku's Y and our support. Second place overall with 6 kills and 1 loss. Not too bad there. And going to go into this next match here in a bit. Again, this is going to be a 550 cost match here on Port Base High Tide in the GPO1 Aqua. And here we are here. And as you can see, the first big thing here is that on this map, you spawn in the water, and not only do you spawn in the water, but the enemy team is right there the moment you spawn in. They are right in your face, and that's almost how, like, most of these work. The enemy team is pretty much just right in your face. The only map that is not really like that is the abandoned or deserted city map. Deserted City is the only one that, like, they do not put you right in front of your enemies, and yeah, it is very unique here. Now, Port Base here, I think, is the most unique of these maps, because as you can see there's our base right there. Usually the base is all the way at the end of the map here, kind of where I was facing, all the way at, like, just the very end at the very corner. Now, with this one, they just put everything in this middle area, so you have the 2 control points right there, and it mirrors to the other side, so you have just 4 control points going around like, in a straight line there, and then there's the enemy base over there, and yeah, that's pretty much most of what they did with Port Base High Tide here. It is literally just closed in. Like, you really don't have the need to go anywhere else on the map. Now, I do have a critique with that one in that I do feel Port Base, like any version of it, is one of those maps that just has a lot of open space that people really don't get to go to, because most time, you know, fighting really doesn't happen there. So I do kind of wish for this one they would have, like, put the points, like, you know, maybe where that ship is, where you can go to, the one you can actually kind of, like, walk on. It's the one that people usually like to go to when it's, like, the 1v1 melee rooms. So, like, that I think would have been a good place to maybe either put the base or some points. I think just, like, having it in a way, like, that top right corner and the bottom left corner, I think would have been some good places to put some control points, again, just to really take full advantage of the map and really try to make people go places they wouldn't to regularly, because, again, I feel like the way they have it now, you really just kind of confine yourself to this one middle area, which is usually how a lot of port-based matches go anyway. So it's just like, it's like an average port-based match, but you're really just more concentrated on the middle area. So I think they could have done a bit more with that, but otherwise I do think, kind of like how Desert works, I think overall it is a pretty alright map overall. This is the one I've kind of had the most mixed feelings of, though, because I've had really good matches in this map and really, really bad ones. So this is kind of like my mixed opinion map. If I had to put this on, like, a tier list with the other ones, I think this would probably be on the lower end, unfortunately, which kind of sucks because the map's not bad in any way, like how they did with the special one here. But I just think with, like, what they were given, I think they could have done a bit more with it. And again, there's just, I feel like this one has just been the one where it's like I've gotten, like, completely dominated by the enemy team on. So I think they could have probably done a bit more here. So it's not, again, it's not like bad or anything, but if I'm just taking the 3 special maps into consideration, I think this might be the lower end for me, with Desert being in the middle, and, well, with 3 maps. That obviously means Deserted City is going to be on top, but I'll get to that one when it is its section. And, yeah, kind of similar to Desert. I don't have too much else to really say. I kind of said everything about this map already. Here's the enemy base, like, right here in this middle section of the road. Usually there is a point right there, and nope, now it is just the enemy base. Which, again, yeah, it's very interesting the way they organize this one to make it, like, much smaller than the regular map was, but that's pretty alright. Again, kind of very similar gameplay to just how Port Base kind of is already. I will say this, though, at least with this, since I feel like Port Base is a map that's not really easy to get to anymore, I will say this probably is going to be one of, like, you know, people's best opportunity to really get this map regularly in some form or fashion, because Port Base, I don't know why they don't have Port Base as much anymore, because Port Base, in my opinion, like, has always been one of my favorite maps. I think it's one of the best maps, in my opinion. Just, like, the way it's designed and just the aesthetic and everything, I do really like this map, so it being selected for the special maps, I do think is really cool, even if it's not my favorite of the 3 maps, again, unfortunately, but, you know, they tried something. They tried something different, they tried to make it a bit more closed in here. I think they wanted people to really fight more in the water, which, I mean, would make sense considering the Aqua gym dominance got released recently, so really good for trying to promote that amphibious suit. But aside from that, yeah, that's also why I chose the Aqua GPO1 here, because I'm like, might be a good idea to use an amphibious suit here, just so, you know, I do kind of take advantage of the benefits of this map. And yeah, it kind of worked out for the most part here. Well, not working out here as I get lasered by a Gym Nightseeker Space and a Kapool. And Kapool finished me off there with its big beam, I think. They look like they are sparking though, so someone might be able to finish them off. Our team is conjugated by point D there, so don't know if we actually take any points this match, but it is a pretty close score right now. And waiting to spawn in. Kind of seeing the situation here because it looks like our Zezulu is about to die, so I'm going to try to spawn in. Probably going to try to stay in the back if I can. Getting my shoulder missiles ready here just so I can see what actually is around here. Support fire is coming in. I try to aim here with some of my rockets just to see if maybe this is where the pilot was, but it doesn't look like they're there. They're probably at one of the two other points that they have captured. Going to fly up here. And let's see who is around the corner here. Gonna team up with my Doga Kai here. And I'm gonna get missiled. And go down here. Get my beam saber ready. And there is the enemy Ashimura. They're gonna fly off if I can get them, but I do have this Kapul that I need to worry about now. Gonna dodge roll. Try to get a stun. Missed. Trying to finish him off with the missiles. And nope, gonna get downswung there. They did destroy one of my shields and taking some damage there. Doesn't look like I have any. No, actually I still have one shield left. That's one of the benefits of using this suit. You do get 2 shields. Going to try to finish off the Ashimar there. Don't think I'm gonna be able to get him in time though. And gonna get the assist on that Kapul though. Ashimar is gonna finish me off there in the last seconds of the match. And it's going to be timeout mission over for this match on port base here. Once again, good works going around for the team here. And let's see how we did. Yeah, no, we still have the victory here, but no base behind us. Let's see, did get top in diversions this match. And I'm going to send a few praises around there. And 6th place overall with 1 kill and 4 loss. Not the best match there, but you know, it was a GPO1 Aqua match, and I haven't gone this suit in a while, so decided to try it. And now we can move on to the final match here. This is going to be on Deserted City, special version, and it's going to be a 300 cost match here in the good old Gouf. Now, Deserted City here kind of remains unchanged, but also very different. Now, you'll notice that where the middle sections are here, there are no control points here. That is because all the control points have been moved to the outer sides of the map. Now, some of them are still in the same place that they usually are. As you can see, point A is still where point A usually is. So, this map has remained mostly untouched, I feel like. Again, I think port base is the one that... Oh, well, not really again, because if you're watching this section individually, I think port base is the one that did change the most, but City Ruins here, not City Ruins, Deserted City, not a wrong map there. This one seems like it has remained, again, pretty much the same overall. The bases are still in the same place, so it seems the main gimmick here is that they really want people to fight outside of the middle area. They will kind of want you to move to the sides of the buildings and everything, and that is where a lot of fighting actually tends to happen, because now people really don't go through the middle section as much. There are still times where people do go that way, and even I do it a couple times too, because I think that's just because that's, you know, what a lot of people are used to. You know, they're like, you're in that middle section, you try to claim those 2 middle points, and that's usually the strategy that Deserted City tends to go for. But here, for the most part, you kind of like go to the sides, especially if you're on Team A, I realize, where point C and stuff is. If you're on Team A, a lot of people usually tend to go there first, and they'll try to claim point C and E, and sometimes they even get to B as well, but usually that's where a lot of the first clashes I've realized have been happening, because usually, you know, people from each side will end up going down that way, and yeah, is not, again, not really in the middle. Snipers don't really go up to, like, the main buildings there, because everyone goes from the side. Like, that's like the main difference. The middle section here, people really don't go to. Now again here, you kind of see that here a bit more, and I think that's because this is an earlier match that I had. So maybe at the time people really hadn't adjusted yet to, just how this map played in the special version, but future matches I did have with this, there was definitely seemed like more of a strategy had kind of filled out over time. And again, it's very just interesting to see kind of how this map plays, differently, despite there only being a few minor changes. Support fire coming down there. Looks like there is somebody here. It looks like they hopped out of the suit and they might be trying to claim the points. Although I don't see anybody here, unless I am just missing them. They might be hiding behind a crate or something. Again, also a teammate got him. Not really sure there, but going to try to move on here. And there is the enemy team there. They have gonna one of a disguised unit, because they do have a Jim Camouflage back there with the anti-ship rifle, so I really do need to be careful about them. Trying to get this Zaku 1 over here, Zaku 1 Commander, because with them being the supports, yeah, I'm going to do the most damage to them. Gonna move back this way. It's also, I think there's a Gataro Gym back here, but I think when it comes to all the special maps, I do think Deserted City here has probably been my favorite to play. This is the one I've kind of just been having the most fun on, just the way it kind of plays. And that's kind of what I can say about all of these. Like, they all play very differently from, like, how, they are usually played. How they usually played in, like, the meta. And, I wouldn't actually mind them doing this sometime with, like, more maps. I don't know what maps they could use, because I obviously feel like Arctic Base is probably going to be out of the question, because Arctic Base is such a small map. So I feel like with that one, they really can't do anything with that one. So that one's probably already struck out instantly. The other issue, I think space matches might be just kind of disqualified completely, because the way space matches are designed, I feel like might be a bit too unique. It might be harder to actually, kind of put like where they would put the control points. So I doubt there'd be space matches either, but I think there's just a few maps they probably could do with this if they really wanted to revisit this concept. Because again, I think this is a limited mode. I think like once the directives that are associated with this end, I think we're not going to really see these maps anymore, which again is a shame, because they all actually seem like they are a lot of fun. Now, obviously, some are better than others. Again, like how I said, Port Base is one of them where, like, you can get easily destroyed by the enemy team. Desert, alright, but then, yeah, like I said, Deserted City here just feels like the best one. And I think that's because it has a good balance of just, they changed stuff about it, but they didn't change everything about it. They changed enough to make it, like, different, but not too drastic. So, yeah. Nearing the last few, actually the last 2 minutes of the match here. As you can see, the enemy team is highly conjugated in this area here. And, well, this Zaku 1 commander is right in my line of sight, so bad position for them, but also a bad position for me, because that Jim Camouflage took a big chunk out of my leg there. Gonna try to boost out of the way and move this way so I can help my teammate. Looks like our Jim Cold District type. The enemy gun tank mass production type is also down here, so I'm gonna try to see if I can get to them. Though I might not have to, because they are low on health. Gonna move this way. There is... Looks like that might be the Jim Camouflage, so got a melee on them. Managed to help my teammate out. There's the Gataro Jim. And they dodged out of my heat rod, so I wasn't able to hit him with that, but teammate was able to finish him off. There is the Zaku 1 commander again, and just trying to maneuver myself to them as my Vulcan reloads. And I'm going to use their tackle there. Hit him with the melee, and heat rod. Finish him off there. Alright, there is the gun tank. Although it looks like there is the Jim Camouflage as well, so I'm going to try to move out of the way there. Jim Kamoof is boosting, but they might have their sights on me, so see if I can try to finish off the gun tank here. Unfortunately not, because it looks like... Okay, got the assist on them, but looks like I'm probably going to die here soon. Yep, Jim Kamoof's going to finish me off with an anti-ship rifle round, and I died in the last few seconds here, but not too much of a problem as we do have a pretty good lead. And timeout, mission over for the last time for this match. Good works going around the team there, and let's see how we did in this final match here with the Gouf. And topping everything, and yeah, definitely beat our rival there. Gonna send a few praises out to the team. First place overall with 7 kills and 3 loss. Pretty good match there for Deserted City. I think this might actually have been my first match as well on this version of Deserted City. And, well, yeah, that's gonna do it for these 3 matches here. A very long video, I know, but wanted to try to cover all these maps in, you know, kind of like one go and try to get them all in just one video, you know, kind of give my overall thoughts on each single map here. And if I had to do a rough summary of everything I said in every part, Tropical Desert, I think is in the middle, would be in like the middle of my like quote-unquote tier list if we're rating these maps. Port Base High Tide probably would be a bit lower than Desert. Still not bad by any means, but definitely can be a bit of a hassle depending on the setup. And then I do think that Deserted City from the last match is probably the best and most fun of the special maps I've played on. I think that's going to be my personal favorite if I had to pick like one to like play on, if you know, like to either get it random or if it's in the rotation, because they do have it for the rotation where you can get specific maps. So I will say Deserted City is definitely worth playing on. I think that's one of the best ones, and also really just favors a lot of suits, that map does. Because Deserted City just favors a lot of maps, a lot of suits, the way Impact Site kind of does, and Impact Site would actually be another one too, if they ever revisit this concept. I think Impact Site would be a good candidate for one, because I think with that one, they could definitely rearrange where control points are. So if they do that one, that would actually be kind of cool, but that's going to do it for this video here. I'm kind of rambling now, so I'm going to, you know, finish it off here. And yeah, comment down below what you think about these 3 special maps. You know, maybe which ones you like, maybe which ones you hate. Or, you know, just kind of how you feel about them in general. And, you know, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And especially if you got this far too, you know. Thank you for watching the thing full through. Again, I know this is a long video. And, well, yeah. With that, I will see you all in the next one. Later.